Hi everybody.
Hello.
Hi Tom.
Hi Joe.
Welcome everybody. Today's session we're going to be exploring Christmas decorations, and more decorations in general. But there's going to be some new processes that are going to be slightly different to the ones we've been doing over the last few sessions, and I think they're quite exciting. So one of the things that I'm going to be showing you is book matching, and for the purpose of Christmas tree decorations, that became angel wings. So you can do reflective patterns like that, which I think are pretty cool. These are just sprayed gold. Quite nice earrings.
Lovely.
And Tom, what have you got?
I've got another take on angels. It's kind of a kind of angely wing thing, but this like hangs off a tree.
Nice.
And it's got sort of wings. You have to put your own head on. I put Lego heads on them. But that came from making just like a Christmas tree, which is like this one, and that hangs up off your tree or stick it where you want on your mantelpiece. These are just sprayed gold, so biscuit-fied and then just sprayed gold, dead easy.
That's super easy.
That's what?
Super easy to do at home if you didn't have a kiln, but you were able to access a kiln, you could fire them just once, and then instead of glazing them, you could just spray them, couldn't you, at home really easily? Anybody can do that.
Yeah. So what do you want to do first?
I'd always think, Tom, that, you know, your angel, I always think it looks a little bit like it's for, you know, like sharpening a really big pencil. It looks like it twists on a pencil.
Yeah. So we've got kits.
We've got kits.
Again, just a screw and a piece of wire.
Yeah, same again.
And some clay. So I'm going to start and make a Christmas tree, I think, Joe.
Great.
These are kind of all various sizes, so the size isn't really important. So I'm just going to get a bit of clay. A tear on top, manageable piece, and again, like we've been doing before, just kind of get it into a manageable shape, get rid of all the creases, but it's not really important for this.
What form are we going for, Tom?
Well, kind of cylindrical.
Cylindrical.
The height of the cylinder will determine the height of the Christmas tree.
Okay.
And the width of the cylinder will determine the width of the Christmas tree, essentially, kind of.
Cool. Ish.
So I'm just going to go with that. Really lumpy, kind of uneven, doesn't really matter.
Okay. Cool.
And then, first thing, very important, is the other bit of the kit, which is this one. This one goes over the wire like so, with the recessed bit facing down. And that kind of comes up like that. Okay.
Does the screw go through both of them, Tom?
The wire goes down the slot.
Yeah.
And the recessed bit goes on top of the wire. But what you can do...
Over the screw, you mean? Like the recessed bit goes over the screw?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But if you don't have the kit, you can just screw the screw in right the way down to the floor.
Okay.
Or you can just make a form like that. Okay, so that's sat on there. Wire goes around like so. So again, right-handed, put it out to the right-hand side, get my lump of clay, lump it kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
And then
Push it down.
Just kind of leveling off that surface, because that surface there is going to be this surface that you see on the Christmas tree.
Gotcha.
There. But I'm also going to put this like saves like clay. Because obviously if you do it, you could do it in a solid lump, which is what I did to start with. But it makes them very heavy. So obviously on a tree, it's going to like pull down.
It helps
make quite a paperweight
as well, Tom, I guess.
Yeah. So you should start by just doing a little hole, because it takes a bit of practice knowing where to put the wire, just in case you go through the side of the hole and you kind of ruin it. That's what I did on this angel. See that hole? It's because the hole in there, it'll all become apparent. So I'm just going to use my finger centrally and just create, for now, just a little dished out hole like so. You can do this before you put it onto the board, stop it falling off. So I'm just creating a little hole like so.
Okay. You don't put all the way through here, Tom. You stop short of the end, the other side, don't you?
Oh yeah. Start off with you're probably better off to start off with not doing a hole at all and just getting a feel for it.
Gotcha.
And then just try with a little hole, and the more you get practice with it, you'll be able to take more of the clay away from the Christmas tree, the inside of it. So I've got that, and it's quite hard remembering how to do something when you haven't done it for a while. It's only like a month or so since I made these, but you have to kind of get into the making. So I'm going to stand up with this and look down on it. And I'm just going to bring the wire up till it's onto the surface like so.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like that.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to pull the wire tight and go into the middle, but don't go through the wall of the hole you've put in the middle. Just kind of stop short of it. And then I'm going out again. In, out. All the way around. Doing this one really simply.
Might be useful for me to lift that up and then.
Without too much wiggle.
Is that a useful shot, Tom? Like that?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So you see that one? That's my one. And again, coming back to the same point that you started from, you go back to that point and then back out along the same line.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Great.
And now what you want to do is you want to take see, I have to remember how I did it now. I think you can take that up, that's manageable. The bit you want is in the middle. So I'm just going to try and peel. Yeah, so just peel away the outside.
Cool.
And then inside you are left, hopefully. Again, remembering not to touch the actual tree. So I'm holding it underneath and just peel off like so.
That's another good reason. Tom, that's quite a good reason to have the hole as well. Another good reason is that you can almost you can use the hole as a holder.
Yeah.
Quite good. I had a flaw in mine. I went through. I made a mistake.
Was that in the clay? Was that where you put your finger in?
Yeah, I think I maybe went too deep down with my finger, and
yeah,
the wire into.
So I've only gone like that far in with my finger.
I went too far. So the next one, I'll go more shallow. I'm going to try that now.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, you could, if you just wanted that as this session's all about decorative things.
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably think of some sort of use for them, hopefully. But this, whatever, it could be a paperweight or just something to put somewhere.
Yeah.
If you don't want to hang it on a tree, you just leave it like that to dry. But if you want to hang it, ideally you'd let it dry a little bit because this is still quite wet. But what I'm going to do is use one of these, a skewer, or you could use a cocktail stick, and this is going to create the hole through the Christmas tree so that you can thread it with a wire or a piece of string. So I'm just going to hit it right on the top, squash it down. So it's gone, you'll feel it go through into the void underneath. Give it a wiggle. Oops. And pull it out. And that's done. So should we try another one of those?
Yeah, I'm going
difficult bit now I've got it on there is like moving it. So ideally, when you've got it on your stick,
yeah,
put it somewhere where you don't have to touch it for a day.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I
So
always find it's really good when you're doing this. I find whenever you're working in clay, to always have boards, like scraps of wood. I guess you could use a plate at home. You could use anything, but just boards that you have around. So when you make stuff, you put them on the board, and then it means when you move them, you just move the board around. But yeah, that could be anything. Look out for bits of scraps of wood in skips.
Yeah. So the next one I would do a slightly bigger one and go a bit faster, I think.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't have to be, technically, it doesn't have to be a cylinder that you make. You could make more of a Christmas tree shape to start with, and then you'll have less clay to peel off afterwards.
Oh yeah, pleased with that one.
So again, clean the wire as well each time. Put that down. Create a flat on the top.
I like that you get that little whip on top, Tom. It's cool, isn't it?
Yes.
With a little yeah.
It's a bit like the dog turd emoji. So for this one, I'm going to come up and then be a bit more random. Because trees are random. But that important bit of coming back to the place where you started. And then out like so. Lift it up. And then gently peel away. This is the nice bit, it's satisfying seeing what's inside.
Yeah, it's kind of magic, that reveal, isn't it?
Yeah, and not touching it as well is good. So this one's a bit weird, it's got a strange bit there, but that's fine. So again, I'll put that down somewhere. And stick a hole through it. You'll find if you put a cocktail stick in it, it'll get stuck, but that's quite good for lifting it. So we can lift it up, put it down somewhere you don't need it, and then you can just revolve the stick and it'll become loose, and then just lift it out. And that's done.
I'm going to show you how to do some reflective angel wings next. So these are some that I showed you before. I've got some others as well, which are a little bit more, I didn't put holes in these, but they're a little bit more like angel wings.
Ear-like.
Yeah, ear-like.
They're like BFG ears.
Yeah, they totally are. Yeah. It's all about that reflect. That's the process here, is the double. Okay. So I'm just going to show you just.
Those have a bit of an Egyptian feel about them as well.
Yeah, they definitely do. So to do the rectangular ones, the Art Deco tiles, I want you to take some clay and just pat it into a kind of a cuboid shape, so like a 3D rectangle. Like a brick, I guess, brick proportions. Doesn't have to be too accurate again. I think this method has got a really good potential for producing decorative tiles somehow, kind of there. So once I've got my cuboid, which I've just patted, again, look, you can just pat the different sides on the wood on the table. to square off those edges. I'm going to choose.
Mine's quite a square shape, Joe. Is that all right?
Absolutely fine. Yeah, it works with any. It works with any form really. Like these ones, I made that shape out of the clay, so it was kind of like a random shape really. The clay block that they came from. So I'm going to choose a face on my block. I'm choosing that face.
Do we use the bit of the kit that I added on for the last one, or do we take that off?
Let's remove the second layer. So you've just got your screw, and you might want to unscrew the screw just a touch. So I think it's a bit like the same as if you were doing it. We did it in the second session where we had it about a centimetre out. Is good. And then I'm going to choose my face on my block, and then I'm just going to show you. I'm going to put a little mark. I mean, you could do it anywhere, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to put a little mark there. So that mark is where I'm going to put the screw head. So rather than, we've been putting the screw head right in the middle of the clay, I'm going to put it there on this one. Okay. So I'm going to bring it down, make sure my wire's out to the left, and I'm going to put that little mark just on the screw there. So my block is actually just to the side of the screw, and I've got my wire free on the other side. Yeah. And then I'm going to come round, and what I quite like to do, I quite like to use, I'm holding the wire, and I've actually got my nail underneath the wire, so that when I'm cutting like that, I'm sort of using my what's the name for it, Tom? Like using my nail as like a guide to make sure I don't go too low with the wire.
Yeah.
So then I'm going to bring it round, and I'm going to give it a quick wiggle all the way round, and I can start to twist this because it will, and out. And because the wire wasn't central, the screw wasn't central, it means that we get this pattern here. So what's important on this one is that we've got two sides. So we've got this one, which you always get really with the process. We've got one that's down here. So I'm going to take that one off. Yeah. But then I want to get this one off. Do you see they reflect? Look at that. So I'm going to put this one to one side. And then the one that's still on here, I want to get off. And I want it to be the same thickness as the other one. So actually what I do, I don't know if you see me doing it this way, Tom. I actually just put it down really lightly, face down, next to the wire again, and then I just cut it off. And if you put it down light enough, it doesn't actually disturb the pattern.
Yeah.
So what we've ended up with is a reflective 2 units that reflect one another. And then again, like we were showing you in some of the earlier sessions, what I quite like to do here is if you've got some other sort of flat sticks knocking around, this kind of thing, I quite like a little bit of nudging, just to kind of like nudge them back in the shape. Good to do this in the resting place. And what I quite like is on this, is when you do that, when you nudge them in, you can start to ripple the edges a little bit. And I was looking at that as like ruffling feathers.
Yeah.
I'm going to move those over to my board and let them dry.
Then it really crisps up the corner as well.
Yeah.
It's quite nice shape.
Yeah, it helps you standardize them, doesn't it? If you were going to use them as tiles, you could do that. So I'm just I'm going to do away with my rigid block, and I'm going to try a little bit more of a random shape, Tom. So I'm just going to kind of, in fact, I'm not even going to control it. I'm just going to produce a random shape, but get a flat face on it. So I'm just going to go from that which is pretty random. But again, screw head there, and round again.
So yeah, random shape.
Yeah, nice. Great. Yeah, so it doesn't have to be square in any way.
Nope.
And then obviously you've got your skewer as well. If you wanted to hang these up, I'd suggest just putting a hole, well, at the top really.
Yeah.
You hang them up next to one
I
another.
suppose you could start off, Joe, instead of doing like start with a piece that's kind of, so you're just going to cut it in half so you don't have to cut afterwards.
That is a really good shout, Tom. That's really good. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't need to be this big block that you're working from at all, does it? That is a really good point.
I'm just going to do that. Oop, and mine moved. That might do a strange thing.
My method of putting the pattern down and cutting it off, you do lose a little bit of definition when you do that. So actually, Tom, that is a really good move.
Yeah. Ears.
Ears.
So cylindrical. Slap it on. So I'm doing it like that. Okay. Right, so put a hole in, small, just up to the first knuckle, I'd say.
Yeah.
And then, so basically, you see that shape there, Joe?
Yeah.
I'm going to come up with the wire, go around, go out with the wire, come back in, go around, go out with the wire.
Cool.
I'm going to go in and then come towards me like so till I get round to that side like that. And then out like that. And then come back in.
Oh yeah, I see.
And then go around again.
I've gone too deep with my finger again, but yeah, I can see how it works. That's great.
So I've gone like that and then go out again. Coming back to the point where the wire started. And then hopefully there should be something inside that in some way resembles some sort of angel. Oh yeah, okay. So
I like that it, Tom, that one, I like that it has a natural thing for you to kind of put it, if you could put it on top of things, like you could put it on a pencil, couldn't you? And stick it around.
Or on the top of a Christmas tree.
Yeah, yeah, perfect.
So if that was a Christmas tree, you put it on the top. You can, of course, mess about with them afterwards, try and create a head or whatever.
They're really good starting points for people to explore further, Tom, these, aren't they?
Yeah. There's another one I'd like to try today, which I haven't made for quite a while. Again, Christmas decoration. These are like a star, like a bit of a kind of shooting star or even a snowflake type form.
Cool.
Visually, they're quite good. And again, I haven't got any spray painted ones, but I did just spray paint them.
Yeah.
And you can create a hole in the middle and screw them onto things. Put them outside in the garden, hang them out of trees. Quite good.
Yeah.
So what I've done for that, again, how do I remember? You can use either one actually for this one. See, this is one that I used with the board like this, with the screw protruding, and that's given a hole at the top. And this is one that I used the kind of shielding extra piece of timber, and that did it without a hole at the top. It's the kind of the same principle as making the Christmas trees, in that you're making something inside a thing that isn't revealed until you've finished, and you peel off the outside.
Okay.
And this is really, really simple. And pull the wire out to the side. But this came about through just I had some scraps lying around, so that were left over from the Christmas trees, and didn't really know what to do with them. So you just kind of just put it down on there like that. I was like, oh, what do I do next?
Yeah.
Got a rolling pin and just roll it out. So whatever you roll out the thickness of with a rolling pin, important with a rolling pin to go one direction and then the other direction, just the same as like working pastry. Do you think, Joe?
Yeah.
You probably use more rolling pins than me with clay.
Yeah, to make sure that you end up with there's actually the reason is to make sure you end up with the right shape, an equal shape. But it's also another reason that it won't affect something like this. But if you roll out a slab of clay always rolling the same way, what it does, it arranges all of the clay particles in one direction. So when it dries, they curl up.
Right.
Whereas if you roll one way and then the other way, you're interlocking the particles so that it remain flat. So that's an important reason why to do both.
So when you use something like a slab roller, which is like a thing in pottery, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that rolls it one way, do you put it through twice?
I mean, ideally, yeah, you would change the orientation when you do it, but obviously you can't always do that with a slab roller because sometimes it's longer than it is wide. So it's just if you can, you change the orientation to deal with those particle arrangements. Because clay crystals are actually they're elongated, so that depending on the process you use to make something, those particles are arranged in a certain manner, and it can affect how it dries quite impressively. Yeah.
Bit of pottery talk there.
Yeah.
So basically, the thickness that you've taken this out, rolled it out to, the clay is going to be the thickness of the decoration.
Cool.
Yeah. And like 10 centimeters or so, that's to start off with, to get a feel of it, do it thicker than that, say kind of 15 millimeters. And for this, because I wasn't really thinking what I was doing, it was a very kind of fast, you don't have to do this fast. So I think for the first one, I'll do it quite slow.
Yeah.
Let me let's see it. So I'm just in and then down. Actually doesn't work when you do it slow. Yeah, I think this needed to be thicker.
Okay.
Just going to peel that off. See what's inside. They all come out different. So that's kind of what reminded me of snowflakes.
Yeah.
I'll do one that's thicker.
Oh yeah. That's cool.
Oh yeah. Yours is loads better than mine. Yeah, and clean the wire. If you haven't got a rolling pin, it doesn't really matter. You could just use your hand. So I'm just kind of squashing that down with my palm, a bit evenish, and then pull the wire up, go around and round, so you can revolve the workpiece while you're going around like so. Just wiggle it up and down. Now back to the same place. Go down. lift this off, and then inside is your amazing star thing.
Cool.
And then again, if you wanted to screw it onto something afterwards, or put a hole in it for fixing it, use your skewer, which I appear to have lost already. Or anything, actually. So it's just a paintbrush and just plop a hole through. When it's dry enough to handle, you can pick it up. But these become very brittle and quite hard to handle. So it's probably quite good, again, when it's done, to set it down somewhere on a board, and then you can just leave it completely.
Yeah.
Like so. Star.
Yeah. I quite like the notion of using something like that, Tom, on another piece of pottery. So if you like, I'm just gonna for an example, like if you made a plant pot, a simple plate. I like the idea of almost like you could stick them on the side to sort of decorate.
Yeah.
I quite like them as like decorative prunts. They're called in glass, where you kind of like
okay, like a kind of like a boss.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
kind of like a pull for a light. Or if you kind of, it could be an actual handle for furniture that way.
Show us that one again, Tom.
That was literally just squashing it into a high column.
High column.
Yeah. Like so.
Yeah.
Put it on. You could start off by flattening again, like we did with the Christmas tree, and just pop your finger in just to release a little bit of material. That will also, if you do make it into a pull, that will be the place where you put your knotted piece of string to hide it.
So yeah, that's nice.
And then just going to bring the wire up and take it around in a circle really simply, keeping the wire pretty tight. If the wire hurts your fingers, you can use something else through the loop, and that makes it a bit easier to maintain the pressure without the wire cutting into your fingers. So pull that off.
Yeah,
what's
like
inside.
that's good. Pretty cool. I find that with any of these processes as well, if I think it's important, if you feel like the first one you do and it doesn't come out right, maybe you feel like you've destroyed it when you've taken it out of the revealed it, just try it again, keep trying it, because you naturally get good at it. So give things plenty of chances to try it again. I like that one, Tom. I've never done that one before. It's cool.
Yeah, we should make some. I think I did a test like that before, but I don't know where it is.
Unfortunately, I've got no.
So these are like variation. This is the same sort of thing, but that's just a little light pull. So your thread would go through there, thread it through, knot it in the bottom, and it type thing.
I'm disappointed, Tom, that I haven't got a requirement anywhere in this house for. We haven't got any light poles.
No, neither have I.
I might just like put some pretend ones up.
Yeah.
Where you know, there's like actually put it up and wire it in so the light comes on, the little red light, so it feels like it's doing something. Yeah. Next session, we've got quite a few more things that are probably going to be bathroom related, haven't we?
Yeah, what are we doing?
It's like advanced next session, isn't it? So like, it's like
yeah. So what have we got? Bathroom mirror.
Yeah, bathroom mirror.
Mirror frame.
Mirror frame.
Some shelves. handy shelves for your tiled bathroom shower stroke area.
Yeah, toast rack.
Toast, they won't use that in your bathroom.
Yeah, I have toast in the bath all the time.
Well, it could be a bathroom tidy for like things.
Yeah, nice.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's good. Actually.
Toothbrushes.
Yeah.
That's another thing we should do. Toothbrush rack, because that's another thing that becomes hideous, like a soap dish.
Yeah, that's good.
For a while,
Yeah.
I thought, you know.
So yeah, that's next session. Well, there's plenty there for you all to be getting on with.
Yeah, even though it's nowhere near Christmas, but you know,
yeah,
it'll come round quick. How many days is it till Christmas?
300.
300. Yeah. Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas.
But you might be watching these sessions at Christmas or near Christmas.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for coming, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Yes.
Thanks, Tom.
See you soon. Thanks, Joe. Bye.